Welcome to the Kevin Clancy Show. I've been in this game over a decade, and I knew I needed a place where I could run wild on my own solo podcast, where I tell personal stories, I deep dive into conspiracy theories, we rip through the current events of the day, and we do sit-down conversations with the most interesting people on the internet. Make sure you click subscribe so you don't miss an episode. What's up, you mutts? It's Wednesday at 10 a.m. You know what that means. It's the Kevin Clancy Show live, coming to you from Barstool HQ. The Hat is in the building. Za is in the building. Nikki Hammer behind the glass. Everybody ready to rock for another hour live on the KFC Radio YouTube. I am back in control of the YouTube for the Blade Bet. You see this beautiful beard? It's not going anywhere because I need everybody watching right now to subscribe. If you're watching, you probably already are subscribed, but if you're not, make sure you log in with your Gmail and click subscribe. I got to step on the throat of that ugly little leprechaun Feidelberg and make him shave. So make sure you subscribe, tell your friends. I have been doing 1 Minute Man now for, I don't know, like 2 years, 18 months, whatever, however long the pandemic's been going on. And, yeah, the Hat is back, baby. You know the Hat's coming out every Wednesday. And so I keep track of, like, what works and what doesn't. Oddly enough, like, sports videos really don't hit the same way like pop culture news does, and I've picked up on a few trends here and there, and I've always kept an eye on what our biggest performing videos have been. And like up until this date, I did a video about Dave and that Midas Touch company who was trying to do hit pieces on Joe Rogan and Dave. That was like previously my biggest one, because think about it, it's politics mixed with Portnoy mixed with Joe Rogan. It was like the perfect storm. When I did that video, that story about Drake putting hot sauce in his condom, that was a huge one. Ever since we switched over to doing reels, they've all been really big. I think we've got our new biggest one on our hands right now. I posted it yesterday, and it's not rappers, it's not Joe Rogan, it's not sex, it's fucking daylight savings, bro. I posted 1 Minute Man yesterday about the Senate unanimously voting to get rid of, or rather keep permanently, daylight savings time. And we got 4 million views overnight. And this shit is ripping. Like, this is going to be 10 million views, by far, like the biggest piece of content I've ever made in my internet career. And it's about daylight fucking savings. And if that doesn't tell you how much people hate that fucking tradition, or whatever you want to call it, I don't know what does. It's amazing. It's so let me point out two things. Number one, it's patently ridiculous that we fuck around with the clocks. It's just stupid. It just inconveniences people. It bothers them. It is awful if you're a parent dealing with your kids' schedules being all fucked up. I hate it. That's A. Two, I was always told that daylight savings had to do with Benjamin Franklin and candles and farmers. Apparently none of that's true. Apparently they started daylight savings during World War I. I had no fucking idea. So I don't know what you were taught, Zab, but in American schools, we were taught something about we needed to save candle wax, and Benjamin Franklin came up with it, and something about the farmers needing more daylight to harvest their crops. Apparently none of that shit's true.
So we don't do it at all. We don't do it at all. I learned it when I came here.
Does any other country do it? Or are you the only ones?
So the United Kingdom does. I think it depends on. I think it's more the first world, because I don't know of any African countries that actually change.
You motherfuckers don't even have clocks.
Yeah, we got bigger problems, bro. changing the clock.
Well, isn't that so true though? It's like whatever, man. We're trying to worry about food on the table. We don't need to worry about if you have enough daylight during the summer or not.
It's crazy.
So apparently. Legitimately, though, I was always told, I've heard shit about oil in lanterns and candle wax for candles and Ben Franklin and something about farmers. And apparently daylight savings was introduced in World War I as a way to conserve energy and provide more hours of daylight. So Germany started that shit. Let's just follow along with Germany in 1916. There's a really good idea. Well, we didn't really adopt any other of the fucking German ideas in the 1900s for good fucking reason. Why are we stuck around with this dumb clock thing? So Germany started in 1916, and then the UK followed, and then France, and then US. I guess it was like, well, listen, we all got to be on the same page for this war thing.
We can't be having different times. If Germany's going to call it 11 a.m., we got to call it 11 a.m. Let's just fucking all be on the same page so we can eradicate each other.
So when is actual daylight savings? Is it now that we're – is it now or the fall time?
This is the other thing. This is D. The people who get who nitpick about the actual definition of daylight savings, you're an asshole. Daylight savings just means changing the clock. It's daylight savings in the fall. It's daylight savings in the spring. It just means when you have to fuck with the clocks for an hour. You spring forward, you fall back. So in the spring, you move it an hour forward, which means that you get more daylight longer into the day. So technically this is daylight savings. But in the fall, I would call it daylight savings too, because all it means is changing the clock. And every time I talk about it, there's some dickhead on Twitter who's like, well, actually, this isn't daylight savings. This is what we do in the spring. It's when we save the daylight. Shut up. Shut up. All daylight savings. Shut the fuck up, Lord Hobbs. Shut up. See, you're a dickhead too. I don't know. It just means changing the clocks. That's what I care about. The people who actually care about the sunlight are children. It's 1 hour of your fucking life. Who cares if it's a little bit sunnier or a little bit darker? All I care is that we stay the fucking same. That's what everybody hates. Is all of a sudden when you have to get up earlier, or all of a sudden, your kid, like as a parent, when your kids are waking up an hour earlier, it's a disaster. When you have little kids and they already get up early and now we're doing everything an hour earlier than that, fuck that. Or when it's usually time for bed, but they're still rocking and rolling because we just shifted the clocks on these fucking kiddos, it's a nightmare. 7 p.m. bedtime, but they're still just like, I need more, let's play. Disaster, okay? So when we talk about eliminating daylight savings, and you want to say it's actually keeping it, it just means eliminating the clocks. So that the Senate unanimously voted on this. Bingo, bango, bongo. Now it has to go to the House.
I was going to ask, is it done yet? Or?
Well, no. So the House has to vote on it, and then even if they do, it'll be implemented in 2023. So no matter what, we still got a little ways to go, and then we got to wait for it to be implemented. But what I couldn't believe was how this news kind of came out of nowhere, and the fact that I saw it was a unanimous vote, which just goes to show that, like, when they want to get some shit done, they just can. They can just fucking... This cord here's all fucked up. When they want to get some shit done, they just can fucking do it. It was just like out of nowhere, I see this headline that they have all voted to change a tradition that we've been doing for over 100 years now, just because, why not? And so now all you got to do is, I'm assuming the House is going to go do the same shit, and it's just like, oh yeah, when we want something to happen, the government actually can get it done. But yeah, I mean, I get it. It's like, we're not talking about guns and money and drugs and power and shit. We're just talking about clocks. But I don't know. There's got to be some people who benefit from this or don't benefit from this changing and usually would block it. But it's like, no. If we want to do some shit, we can. We have the power to, like, not be the worst fucking government in the world. So shout out to the Senate for just having a brain for once. And now the pressure is on the House. If the House doesn't vote for this, I don't even, bro, I still don't even fucking... The House and the Senate, I'm like, I don't even know what you fuckers do, man.
Right.
I will shoot you straight. I'm a grown man. I should know what that means. I don't know who does what. All I know is that the Senate is down with this shit, and they're not going to change my clocks. Then I'm Team Senate. And if the House fucks this up, the House are the bad guys. They're evil. Can you leave that door open? Thank you. Yeah, leave it open. It's fine. If you are for changing the clock still, kick rocks, bro. You're a child if you're still down with the clocks, because to me it's like if you're partying and you get an extra hour at the bar, fine, I get it. If you're still like in college and you want an extra hour of sleep whenever that happens, fine. Once you have a real life and a real schedule, changing clocks is one of the most infuriating fucking things we do. So
we have a poll going right now, and 25% of the people who voted on it don't want to change.
who? How much?
25% of the people on YouTube chat. There's a poll.
What do you get from changing the clocks? What is the benefit of changing? Why? Why would that? It just drives me crazy. It's the dumbest thing and you know how crazy this is? Fucking Arizona has been doing this forever. And they just go about their business. It's just like, nope, and I guess, listen, we already have time zones. We're already on different clocks as is. Why not just be like, nope, we're just going to keep doing this shit however we want. If Arizona is leading the way, if Arizona is more progressive than you with their brains, we got a problem. Arizona's fucking lawless, bro. Arizona was like spitting in each other's mouths at the height of the pandemic. They don't give a fuck. And they're the ones that have brains to be like, let's stop worrying about the fucking clocks, guys. This alone, this 1 minute man alone, send this to the House of Representatives and be like, look how many people are sharing this and commenting on this and like this. That's how many people are done with the fucking clocks. That's all the evidence you need right there. So do the right thing, America. Fuck Germany. Fuck France. Fuck the United Kingdom. Fuck everybody. And let's ride with Arizona. And I don't care whether you give us the summertime time or the fall time. I don't care whether it's dark in the morning or light in the morning. I don't give a shit about any of that as long as it stays consistent. It's all made up anyway. And if you're crying and worrying about your, I want it to be sunny when I get out of work. Oh, I don't want it to be dark in the morning when I wake up. Shut up. Shut up. Children out there. Anyway, I got to calm myself down. I'm all fired up over baseball being back and the Mets actually being potentially good. I stumbled upon something I wish I never did last night. I was told about this new show on Netflix. I don't even know. I don't think the show itself is actually good or garnering any viewers, but this one scene is.
The only time I've heard of this show is through TikTok. Like, this is going around being like, go to this show, this episode, this time,
yes,
and react to
yes.
this. And that's the
brand
only time
new
I've
cherry
seen
flavor. The only thing you know about it is people say go to episode 4, minute 35. And actually, if you really want to keep it creepy, start at minute 30. I don't know what this show is about. It's supernatural. There are witches involved. There's all sorts of weird shit going on. But at episode 4, at the 30-minute mark, this girl gets out of the shower, drops her robe. Are you watching it back there?
Nope, not anymore. Not anymore. Not anymore. I'm done. I just saw a second of it. I am done. Done.
So this is on TikTok. You can find it.
No. I went to Netflix on my phone.
Oh, okay,
Yep,
okay.
Nope, I'm
so
on.
Za just pulled it up. Za is literally like cringing and running away. She gets out of the shower. She drops her towel, and on her side, right under her ribs, she has a pussy. She has a side pussy, and it's not like lips, but it's like it's kind of like that. If you're watching on YouTube,
It's like 3 little things.
it's like this little. It's almost like kind of like an asshole, to be honest. It's got like 4 little like clamper things that close. And at the 30-minute mark, she shits out a cat. She gives birth to a fucking kitten from her side. Pull that one up, Za. So that's how it starts. Is a full fucking kitten with its fur all wet and like mushy just falls out onto the bathroom floor. And that, if that's not weird enough, 5 minutes later, this dude shows up and starts fingering her on her side. And I'm telling you, dude, I have seen porn. Yeah, look at Za's face. Put Za on. Give me the Za cam for this.
Oh my God, yo!
Yo, It is. It's the new, like, we need reaction videos on YouTube.
No.
Barstool reacts to the bad winter cherry, whatever it's fucking called. This guy rolls up to her. They start making out, and he just, like, slides 2 fingers in. And I swear to God, it's more graphic than I've seen pornography. I've watched porn that doesn't show fingering quite like this. He slides a couple fingers in, and then just full-blown, the whole hand is in. He's straight up fisting this girl on her side.
I don't know if you noticed when he picked her up and he put her on the bed. I think he picked her up from there.
Yeah, his hand is inside of her, and he's lifting her with her side pussy. I can't believe it was allowed on Netflix. I know Netflix has, like, plenty of graphic stuff, a lot of sex, whatever. This was a bridge too far, Netflix. A bridge too far. I mean, this is, we've seen in recent Netflix shows, we've seen, what was that? I think it was called Sex Life, where that guy had his fucking gigantic fake dick just dangling in the shower. And we've seen all sorts of weird sex scenes on there recently. That one show that was about kidnapping. Jackie, did you ever watch that show, 365? It was about a girl just getting kidnapped and basically trapped.
Was that the one with the guy with the huge dick?
I think that was I think they both had huge dicks. But
no.
The
I
one
know what you're talking
was
about.
the girl getting kidnapped and basically trapped as a sex slave for a
I didn't
year.
watch that one, no.
Every girl was like, oh, my God, this is so hot. I can't wait for this to happen to me. It was like, this girl is being kidnapped and forced into sexual slavery, you dumb bitches. But this is the latest one, and I'm telling you, I can't imagine this show is any good because this is the only thing they're talking about. Brand new cherry flavor. Whoever came up with that scene, whatever writer, producer, cinematographer, whatever you call it, you got issues, dog. That's like, I say this all the time. I feel like if I watch a scary movie, if I watch Hostel, if I watch Saw, I think about guys like Eli Roth and Guillermo del Toro. The shit that they come up with, man, those people should be thrown in jail. In my mind, that's basically like pre-crime. Because you can come up with this idea to lock this guy's head in a box, and if he doesn't eat his way out of it, the fucking thing slices his dick off, and then the rats eat him a lot. You know, it's like, whoa, why is that coming out of your brain, you sick fuck?
Like, who the fuck puts a pussy on a hip, bro?
And that's what I mean, dude. That's like we have a question on Answer the Internet. And it's if you could move the pussy to another part on the body, where would you put it? And shout out to one of my favorite all-time great answers, Paul Biznasty Bissonette. He just goes, he was so high when he did Answer the Internet. If you could move the vagina to another part on the body, where would it go? And Biz just goes, the asshole? I was like, what? Why would you move it? First of all, it's already right there, Biz. There's like 1 inch. Secondly, why? Then you lose, you get 2 for 1 as it is right now. Why move it? That's all.
I'd go knees.
You go knees.
My tippy toes hurt during sex. Lowered it a little bit.
What an answer. That's fucking great, Za. That is. Yo, that is funny shit. I was actually just talking about you yesterday, Za. We had a comedian on the show who he corrected himself and said little people. And I was like, I don't know, man. That sounds more offensive to me when we talk about it. But this dude came in. It was a funny scene. His name's Derek Gaines. Okay. He's boys with Ricky Velez. He was in.
I know Ricky.
Yeah, he was in King of Staten Island, and he knows Pete Davidson.
Oh, okay.
So he came in and he says to Jordan Berry, yo, I don't want this to go like it went last time. And I was like, and then Jordan came and relayed this to me. And I was like, last time? This is the first time we've ever had him on the show. And she tells me, she goes, he said to me, last time I was on the show, I had some football player and another guy, and all they did was talk about Pete Davidson to me. And it was Willie and Brandon Newman. And so I guess they asked a bunch of questions about Pete. And he was, Pete, especially people with Pete Davidson. I've talked to Ricky Velez. I've talked to this guy now, Derek. I know a couple of the comics who know Pete. And, like, because Pete became so famous, everyone wants to know about everything. But he's also, like, a notoriously private dude. So all of his friends are like, stop fucking asking me about this guy, right? So Derek comes in. And Derek's like a no-nonsense guy. He's from he lives in Brooklyn now. He's Jersey. He was a janitor on the Jersey Turnpike and the Garden State Parkway while he was grinding to become a comic. He's a no-nonsense motherfucker. And so I can tell right away that this dude does not play around. So I start the interview. This will be up on KFC Radio within, I don't know, a week or two. And I'm like, so I'm like, welcome to the show. And right off the bat, I'm like, what's up with Pete Davidson? And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, you're boys with Pete, right? And he's like, yes, I am. And I'm like, so what's going on with him? This must be crazy. And he, like, perks up and looks me in the eyes, and he starts looking around at my whole team. And he's like, is that what the fuck this is? And I had this plan. I wanted to go on as long as I could. And as soon as he was like, is that what the fuck we're doing here? And I was like, okay, never mind. Never mind, dude.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
he saw, too, Zach was filming him.
Zach
and,
had the camera out.
And I was getting, like, ATI ready just in case, and I was standing outside with a camera because I'm like, he might fucking storm out of here. I have no idea right now.
If I went on, like, one more joke, I think he would have been up and fucking gone. And then it took, like, a few minutes to really get the interview going after that, because even though it was a joke, I think he was still like, fuck all these white people. I hate you guys. But a good interview nonetheless. So that'll be out on KFC Radio coming soon.
Pete and Kanye, huh?
Huh?
Pete and Kanye. Pete and Kanye just going at each other.
Yo, if you are still defending Kanye West at this point, just recognize that Pete's the motherfucking GOAT for being... Wait, what? Did that just say that Pete was toxic? Yo, there's one toxic person in this fucking situation. It's not Pete Davidson, bro. And actually, you know what? Everybody's toxic. Pete Davidson has been running around fucking Hollywood superstars, and I'm sure he's got his own toxic shit. In this situation, if you still ride for Kanye West, just recognize that you are like a blatant Kanye dick rider who will never say anything bad about him, which is fine. Everybody has stands. Everybody has guys and girls that they just concede do no wrong. But Kanye is just like being an annoying fucking asshole. If you could imagine dating someone who's divorced and their ex was doing all this shit, it would be so fucking annoying. And it's Kanye West, the billionaire, who's got nothing better to do than continue to troll this guy. Now, I will say, Pete sending the picture and saying I'm in your wife's bed. That's almost like, I know you've been quiet and you've taken the high road, but now you're in the mud too. Because when you do to finally decide to take the gloves off and come at someone, if that's the text you send, well, now it's a fucking fist fight. But I don't think Kanye can go toe to toe with Pete. And Pete Davidson's not like, we're not talking about Dave Chappelle or Bill Burr or something like that. Pete's a good comic, but he's not like one of the all-time greats. But I think just the fact that he is a comic, he's going to be funnier and wittier and just better at this game. Like those texts from Kanye, he had nothing, bro. He had not one funny retort, not one witty joke. Like for a rapper who usually like at least is battled and has some wordplay and shit, he had nothing, dude. Come to Sunday service. Fuck you. How about that, man? Get the fuck out of here. That was some bullshit. I feel like if Kanye's gonna keep this up, dude needs like a big time response next, because that was Pete in a fucking landslide. I mean, you can't have a guy look at that the picture of him with the thumbs up in bed, just being like, peace sign, I'm in your wife's bed.
And that's people were breaking that.
What's that?
People were breaking that apart, saying that he now has a Kim tattoo on his chest already too.
Yeah,
so to send that, like, he easily could have just moved the hand. It was right where
with the camera.
Clearly he'll be able to see that.
Like I said, Pete's crazy too, and Pete knows he's crazy. Pete admits it as much. He's like, yeah, why don't you take your fucking meds and go to the doctor like I do? So it doesn't surprise me that he's going 100 miles. Listen, also, if I was dating Kim Kardashian, I'd probably be like, I'll get a tattoo. I'll get a ring. Whatever you want. Zah, if Kim Kardashian has you get a tattoo right now, you saying yes?
I will do more than a tattoo.
Whatever you want,
I will do
girl.
more than a tattoo.
Whatever. Whatever Kim Kardashian wants, I'm saying yes.
Also unreal that they're meeting at church. He wants to meet at church, Kanye. It's like, dude,
I mean,
you want to take your beast to church?
yo, like the most ungodly shit ever going on right now, and you want to meet at fucking Sunday service. Guy is absolutely out of his fucking mind. But, and Pete has basically parlayed his comedy career and being like, grumpy about life into the hottest chicks in the world, and now I think what's about to be like one of the best careers out there. He already did King of Staten Island. They already have a movie coming out, a TV series. They said it's like a Larry David, Curb Your Enthusiasm-esque type show about the life of Pete Davidson, just by being himself. Like he does SNL every now and then. He's in one skit, like, I don't know, every few fucking episodes probably. And next thing you know, he's got like the most beautiful chicks, all the money in the world probably, and one of the biggest gets in Hollywood. It's an all-time snake it till you make it. Right now, the best snakes, and I say snake lovingly with Pete Davidson, the best snakes in the world right now, Pete Davidson, Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, $240 million fucking dollars as an NFL quarterback. Just the most average, slightly above average motherfucker to ever play. It's a delight. I love Kirk Cousins. He's an all-time, right there with Matt Castle, Matt Flynn, the all-time grab the bag and go. Except that Kirk Cousins seems to keep on doing it. Usually you get like one fat bag and it's like, haha, played you guys. I got $60 million off of like one game. Kirk Cousins, though, you know what you're going to get. You know you're going to be 500. You know you're going to miss the playoffs. You know if you do, you got no shot of winning. And you're still going to get. I mean, Kirk Cousins, we're using the term, we can throw around billion. $250 million for Kirk Cousins. Look at that. Look at those numbers. $230 million. And these numbers are guaranteed. So don't even, like, the actual number of his, like, actual, his full contract numbers, even higher. $230 million. Like, that means with the vast majority of athletes, entertainers, businessmen, Kirk Cousins walks in the room and he's the richest guy. That is nuts.
Has he ever been like a top 5 quarterback at any point in his career?
I don't think so. I don't think even
top
close.
10?
I don't know. Maybe he had like one season. I think he had 1 year because I remember when he was heading into free agency, I think he had a lot of suitors. But I don't think he's ever been like a major, top 5 or like an MVP type voting. I mean, the guy he's just a quarterback. That's it. There's only 32 spots to play quarterback. There's just so few people in the world who can fucking do it that if you're semi-competent, you're going to get the bag. But to keep on doing it and because you know what it is? It's like he's no drama. He's no off-the-field nonsense. You're not going to get,
okay.
It's like I'm just going to put my head down. I'll be very quiet. I'll play you some quarterback. And if maybe if you assemble a bomb squad around me, we'll win. Otherwise, probably not. But God, like, think about how wealthy Dave is and how much he like flosses and bosses and whatever, does whatever he wants. Talk about like 2.5 times that as Kirk Cousins. You talk about some of the biggest ballers in the NBA. You're not talking $240 million.
This is cash too.
Yeah,
cash.
this is
Dave's is wealth.
Cash money.
Dave's is wealth.
What's funny about every athlete that is like Antoine Walker or who else blew it famously? Anybody who's ever just blown every dollar they've ever made in the NBA by gambling and drugs and hoes and planes and shit. There's a guy like Kirk Cousins. He's probably parlaying that 230 into like $3 billion by doing safe investments with his corporate group. He's probably got like 5 or 6 financial advisors who are putting him in all sorts. He's probably into crypto and into the fucking Farmer's Almanac and shit, making all sorts of money on top of money. Kirk Cousins could be one of the richest guys ever. It is crazy. Out of everything I want to be in this world, I think the greatest thing you can be is a fucking snake. And again, I say that lovingly. I don't mean a snake like you're a bad friend, you're a shisty businessman, you're unreliable and a liar and all that shit. I don't mean that. I mean if you can fake your way through whatever industry you're in, to me that is the all-time, because it shows more, like when you can do something without the talent, that is your talent, you know? And I feel like, I mean, we kind of do it here. It's like the fact that most of Barstool, and certainly with me with KFC Radio, like we don't have any talent. We don't, yeah, $250 million to ruin your team. I mean, that's the life of a Vikings fan can be summed up by that. But like with KFC Radio, you know, I was talking to my brother the other day about it and saying how we've had so many of the greatest comedians on our show in the past couple of years, and now they all have their own podcasts. And I was saying how they've got great stories and all this shit to tell on their podcasts and how amazing it is. And then my brother was like, and isn't it funny that like you guys have a podcast that's, you know, either in the same rankings as them or even ahead of them, and you didn't do any of that shit. And it's true. It's like I look around at like some of my peers, as I would call them, and they're like the funniest, most talented people in the world. And then there's just like John and I like hanging out with them, and somehow, you know, we get to be like in the club too. I'm proud of our snake moves, and it's a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of what guys like Kirk Cousins and so
it's always great on the days you see in the rankings, like we're sandwiched between like Burr and Two Bears, and
yes,
it's like
and
it's always like, all right, we're doing the right shit here.
But it's the right shit, but it's like it's not the real shit. But I guess it is, because it's like the proof is in the pudding. But it's like if you're gonna watch Two Bears, I mean, the story that Bert was telling on Two Bears this week, this latest episode, it was he just got like tale after tale. Oh, he was talking about being in a fucking flying a plane and swimming in a triathlon and doing all this shit that I'm just like, yo, Bert Kreischer's led like one of the most amazing lifetimes ever. And he tells it all on his podcast, and it's fucking unbelievably fascinating. And then, you know, on the other side is Bill Burr, who's got some of like he's a modern day philosopher of comedy with like the greatest wit and outlook on life. And then there's just us in the middle, and it makes no fucking sense. And that's why every day I wake up and I'm still like, I don't believe it. I'm still like, I can't even pretend to think that this is even like I'm just waiting for it. You know, the clock to strike midnight, the carriage to turn back into a pumpkin, because we don't fucking do any of that shit. It's wild, man. If I could pick, though, it's like, do you want to be good, genuinely good at one thing, or great at being a snake? Snake it till you make it, baby. Because you can apply that to anything. You can apply it to business, to social life, to work life, to entertain. You know, whatever if you are always able to find the angles and play it. Like I was thinking about this the other day, the amount of shit that's out there that just blatantly doesn't work. Like I saw ear candles in the store.
Yeah.
Those don't work. Have you ever done it?
And I don't know what the fuck that is. I cannot wrap my head around an ear candle.
So it's
I've
like
seen
a long.
Donnie did it. I know he did it on like the side of the shrink.
Oh, the ear cleaning shit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
You
Okay.
put like a hollow candle in your ear, and you light the top of it. And apparently, because of like the way fire and air work, it like is supposed to draw out all of the toxins and wax and dirt.
I love those videos.
So do I, but it's not real. Like I read up on it because I love that kind of shit, and all the doctors are like, this doesn't do anything. Yet it's in stores, and I'm thinking to myself, there's probably someone out there who made $1 billion on ear candles, and it's a product that genuinely does not work.
Yeah.
It's not like, it's like Eastern medicine where like there's a placebo effect, and maybe if you buy into it spiritually, it works or something. Like this is a thing that is supposed to give you tangible results that does not, and somehow they sell it in stores and make $1 zillion. Or those things, those infomercials where they put the pads on your feet and it says that it sucks the dirty toxins out of your body because all of like your energy brings all of your bad toxins and bad energy goes down to your feet, and then there are these pads that suck it out. And so apparently you put these pads on, and when you pull them off, it's like black on the bottom. And they're like, look, see? It took all the badness out of your body. It's like, no, that's not fucking real. But someone out here is making a bag of money on it.
Make me sick. How much?
I don't even know, but I mean,
$50 a pop.
I'm sure there are companies and fucking gurus and chiropractors and shit that are like, got to get your foot pads and your ear candles, and they just aren't fucking real. That to me, if I could be one of those guys, like, hey, what do you do for a living? Well, I've convinced the world that if you put these little Band-Aids on your feet, that it's going to make you a healthier person. That is the dream. Or the pet rock guy. Any of those, man.
$25 at Walmart for a pack of 56 of them. $25.
Bro, they are literally just like sticky paper.
Use one a day.
No fucking
Man,
shot.
what the fuck am I doing with my life?
So I'm obsessed with my ears. My fingernails and my ears are my crazy OCD. I cut my fingernails all day, every day. I clean my ears every single day. And I got, I know there's the rookies out there using their Q-tips. Get out of here. I bought like a kit that comes with all these different metal things that have different knobs and hooks and shit on the end. And one day I'm 100% going to puncture my eardrum. I am always cleaning and scraping and all this shit, right? Then just the other day I took it up a level and I bought a ear water gun. I don't even know what to call it. It looks like a water pick for your teeth, but it's got this little knob on the end.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Bro, you put water in this like tub, you hook it into the bottom. It looks like a fucking gun almost. I put this shit in my ear, bro, and it goes and it is just blasting like into my brain. I wanted to see like just how powerful it was. I pulled it out. It was like a super soaker. I mean, the water was shooting across the bathroom, like flying against the walls, and I've got this thing jammed into my ear, and it's just, I'm sure it's just blowing everything out of there, man. You know what, I also got I'm such a freak with the ears, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's by far my weirdest thing. I bought a camera that hooks to your phone with the Wi-Fi, and you put it in, and you can see.
Those gross me out so fucking much.
I love those.
Because all the TikTok videos start halfway through. It doesn't give you any fucking shot to skip it. And it's just like, look at this fucking massive thing in this person's head.
This is the thing. That's the thing. It's not massive. And I learned that when I got it myself. When you see all these little like balls of wax and things in there, it looks disgusting where you're like, oh my God, you've got like a nugget in there. I put it in my ear and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that's in there. And I pulled it out. It was a speck. It was like a tiny little like pen mark. It was that small. So I was like, oh, okay, wait a minute. These people aren't gross, disgusting fucks. It's just that anything in there looks huge. But I put my gun in. I blasted my ears. I put the camera back in. Clean as a fucking whistle, man. I mean, I blew my ears out, man. I was blowing my ears with this fucking gun, man. I can't recommend it. It was like, $75. It was way too much money. And I'm just going to sit there all day long. It is by far. Do you have any weird, like, OCD things with your body or your eyes, your ears, your fucking fingernails, any of that shit?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
That I can do or that I'm into?
That you're like that you have to do every day or something like that. Like,
ooh, not.
like if I don't clip my fingernails, like my day is like ruined. I go nuts.
So my socks got to be matching. I gotta wear, and my thing is when I do my laundry, instead of doing it right there and just putting them into a ball, I just throw them in my thing. So I'm literally individually going through like finding different socks.
And if your so will you like not leave the house?
I will not. I will actually be late for like a train or an interview, whatever. So
so if I gave you like if you need to get somewhere and I'm like just wear this white sock with this black sock, you will not do it.
Unless it's a life or death situation, I will not leave. If it's a job, I'll get another one.
What about I hate people who are like, if I'm wearing Nike socks, I have to wear a Nike shoes. I have to wear Adidas socks. You know what I mean? They have to match.
It's just
brand.
it's just the socks have to be the same.
I can't when they're like, I can't believe you wore Adidas socks with a Nike pair of shoes. I'm like, come on,
What?
come on, like grow up. Let's get to. We only got one call here on the line right now.
Real quick, we have a big ol' update on the bird. Let me switch this over to my computer.
What do we got? What do we got? I can't. Oh no, Stu, talking about Jackie. Let's see. I can't read it here. Can you make it larger?
I am coming in Tuesday to the office. I will be there at 9:30 a.m. Eastern sharp. How do you like your coffee and your bagel?
Oh, my days.
You're gonna go on a date with Stu Feiner.
But is he saying it like because it's in response to the I'm with Sandy on this one saying like basically go fuck your top 10 list?
Yeah.
So is he saying it like
I think he's trying to like win you over and apologize.
well, I'm trying to win him over. So this is a two-way street.
Well, you
Does this mean that
you're trying to win? Like you want to be on his list. Stu is trying to prove to you, like, I'm sorry for not putting you on my list, and I'm sorry for being a pig.
okay, but am I on the list? I don't.
Yo, so text back or tweet back. Save the coffee. Thank you for your offer. Just put me on your fucking list.
Okay, brilliant.
The funny part, though, is there's zero shot she's in by 9 o'clock.
No, and also, yeah. Listen, that's wonderful offers too, but wrong company, wrong podcast. If you're gonna, the better move. Honestly, how happy would you be, Jackie, if Stu Feiner showed up at like 2 a.m. One night when you're like editing late with like a fucking snack or a joint or something like that? That's the real way to get to Jackie's heart. Late night, not early morning.
No, but 2 a.m. is when I look my worst. So I'm trying. I that was not the point. That was besides the point. Now I'm realizing what you meant.
You are so stuck on the list. It's hilarious. If you don't know what we're talking about, Stu Feiner tweeted out last week his list of top 10 girls at Barstool was immediately deleted because Dave was like, are you fucking kidding me? You can't do that. Jackie, though, was not on the original list and has since then been thirst trapping and coming up with ways to get on Stu's list, while Stu is now apologizing to her, being like, I'm sorry. Yeah. If Stu comes in, Pabs is in vlog heaven.
If we don't get that on camera, it'll be the first time I'm like yelling at these two. Like, what are we fucking doing?
The Stu Jackie storyline is one that is, it's just, and that's why we get sandwiched in between Two Bears and Bill Burr, because you never fucking know what's next at this goddamn company. Stu graciously is going to take me to opening day, so I'm pumped for that. He kind of sandbagged me though, because he was like, he offered me tickets and then was like, okay, cool. So you're going, and then I'll be there with Tank as well. And I was like, oh, you son of a bitch. So now I'm going to be at opening day with Frank the Tank, where every time someone there is like any out made, well, the season's over. The season's over. Frank screaming and yelling about the vaccination
I'm gonna
stuff.
need you to film that one too.
Yeah,
I'll
that's probably give me a GoPro.
crucial.
Let me just wear a GoPro for the day.
We have those little Osmo pockets. I'll get you one of those.
I'm gonna have to capture that one.
You got names, Kev,
names for what?
for the vaccine situation?
What do you mean names?
Who's you know who's unvaxxed and all that?
Oh, so I mean, I know for the Yankees, I know Aaron Judge is, because he got asked the other day, and it was like he had this weird answer where he was evading it. Tank was screaming and yelling about DeGrom and Scherzer. I don't know if they are or not.
He was just naming the best players.
I know. I was like, Frank, is this real, or are you just saying this because you're Frank?
Then all the shit guys were like, he's vaxxed, he's vaxxed.
I mean, yo, I truly don't even talk about vax and all this shit anymore. It's over and old and dead and boring conversation to me. But this is where we have reached the point, well beyond the point of lunacy, where it's like you can sit in the dugout but not play on the field. You can be in the dugout where you're next to each other. Based on the New York working mandate, you can sit in the dugout next to a guy, like touching him, coughing on him, sneezing on him. If you take the field where you then stand 150 feet away from the closest person, now you're violating the rules.
It's the field in the locker room, right?
Yes.
Dugout's fine, field locker room.
Yes, and then with basketball, like Kyrie can be on the bench or in the building at least, but can't play on the court. It's like we are really reaching the point of absolute lunacy. Speaking of Kyrie, and I'll use this to open up the call line too. We already got a couple calls. We'll certainly take those. But also, if you want to call up with this, I think that Kyrie Irving last night went off for 60 points in 35 minutes, meaning every time he touched the ball, he's bombing threes. I think he was like 20 for 31 from the field, 8 of 12 from 3. And I said, and this maybe is I'm biased because I played basketball growing up, but I think when you are in the zone in basketball, I'm talking the all-time great performances. Not really Wilt with 100 because he's just literally just dropping the ball in the hoop, playing against a bunch of like 5'6" Jewish white guys who have day jobs. But Kobe dropping 81 or Melo putting up 60, Kyrie with 60 last night, Jordan put up 69 in the playoffs. Like when you're having those type days on the court, I think it's the most dominant feeling in professional sports. I threw out, when you're a dominant pitcher and they just can't touch you that day. When you're Tiger Woods and you're blowing away the field in golf, you're up like 15 strokes. When you're a Aaron Donald type defensive lineman who just is marching through the O-line every single play and sacking the quarterback like all night long. All that dominance, I still feel like when you are untouchable and like on fire in basketball, I don't think there's a better feeling in sports. So call me up, debate me on that, 888-786-6522. But we'll take the calls that we've got right now. We'll start with Corey from New York. You've been on the line. What's up, Corey?
Hey, Cassie. This is your boy Corey from last week.
Corey Bruce, the smartest man in the world, except for me, because I'm the most. What were your exact words? What'd you say?
I said you don't get enough credit for being a genius.
That's right, genius right here. Mensa genius speaking to another Mensa genius because Corey Bruce has some of the best opinions on the planet. What's up, Corey?
What's up? I got a question for you. I want to start off. If you can go back in time and redo any interview from KFC Radio, who would you pick and why? And also, I just want to give a quick shout out. I know we follow each other on Instagram, but everyone should go follow my Buffalo Photography at @CBrucePhoto on.
Oh, look at this guy plugging.
Twitter.
Look at this guy plugging away. Wait, hang on. Stay on the line.
Okay.
Za, did you call it a hypothetical?
Yeah, that's on me. That's on me. That's that African English. That's that Zimbabwean English. There's different types of English.
Said Corey has a hypothetical for me. I honestly didn't even hear the hypothetical because I read hypothetical. So wait, say it one more time. What's the question, Corey?
If you can go back in time and redo any interview from KFC Radio,
Ooh.
if it was like a botch or if it just wasn't as long as you wanted it to be, who would you pick and why?
I do have a good answer, but before I let you go, do you want to tell the people why I don't get enough credit? Why you think I'm a genius?
Honestly, I've been listening to you probably before the pre-pandemic, and just a lot of your takes just make a lot of sense that I feel people don't say, but I mean, you're the one saying it, so I just give you all the fucking credit. So
you know what? Sometimes it's not about being great at delivering the take. It's just about having the right take or the sensible take or the take that no one will say. So I will take it, Corey. Great question. What one interview I wish I could redo from KFC radio history? I don't know if I can narrow it down to one. I would like to. What's one that we bombed? Does any stick out in your mind that I want to try to think of the ones that we like that I fucked up on or didn't. I'll be honest, this does not happen often. Usually we have a long enough interview that I'm like that I did everything I wanted to do. We've certainly talked to people sometimes who are not feeling it, and it's just like, well, they were not really interested in doing this, and they were just like doing press.
Who did we recently say like we wish there was somebody that we were like we wish we had a lot more time with them just because whenever people are on these press junkets they're just so rushed.
Yeah.
I mean even Mac was like he's like
Who,
wait,
Rob, you mean?
yeah, Rob Mac, yeah.
Right.
He was just like, oh shit, I have to go do a live thing. Like
I
his
know.
publicist was rushing him out when he's like, wait, I don't have more time.
Right.
Like that would have been.
But that to me,
incredible.
I don't feel like redoing. Like a lot of these guys, you know, a half hour is not enough time to dig into everything. I feel like I usually accomplish what I set out to do with a half hour, where it's like I want to touch upon this, and this, and I usually get in all my questions. The Action Bronson one is what everybody brings up. I wouldn't change anything. I would maybe go back and do it again, and maybe like double down on it and be like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, why can't you answer a question? And I wish he kind of did like throw me through a wall. I would take the physical blowback that I get for like going, you know, getting that out there and going more viral. The Kathy Griffin one was the other one that was super contentious, and part of me wishes I just like said like, oh fuck it. Oh, you know what? It's not out yet, but we have an interview coming up probably this week, right?
Yeah.
We have an interview coming out later this week that the guests just like did not want to be there, and it was not like something that somebody made them do. Like they didn't have a publicist forcing them to be there, and I kind of called it out in the middle. I was like, you don't want to be here, do you? And it was kind of like awkward, and then there was some things told that were blatantly untrue. And I've sat here, I think on this show, I said I wish there was more like contentious podcast moments, and I had an opportunity right there. And I did kind of call them out, but I wish I doubled and tripled down and just made it like an all-out argument, because it was so ridiculous how bad the interview went, and it was just like, why did you do this in the first place? So I know I'm talking about something you guys haven't listened to yet, but if you are listening later this week, you'll know which interview I'm talking about. And bear in mind that I'm saying this now, because I wish I had just said, wait, what are you fucking talking about? Or why are you here? Why are we doing this? What is your problem? And you'll understand. I think that'll probably take the cake for my answer for this question. Let's go to Skip talking about daylight savings. What do we got? No, sorry. You're talking about opening baseball. Yeah, what do we got, Skip?
Yeah, Kevin, you're safe for going to opening day with Frank. God bless you for what you're going to be dealing with.
I got duped. And it's not that I would have said no, because first of all, opening day is awesome. Second of all, Stu is so gracious offering me the tickets. They're great. They're like front row. It's going to be a big season. You know, I can tolerate it, but I got to know ahead of time. He said, great. Okay, we're good. We're all locked in. I said, yep. Okay, Frank's going to be there, you son of a bitch, Stu. But yeah, it's going to be a fun one. What else you got?
So I almost got to wonder, like, what makes you want the Mets to win more? To prove Frank that he is just wrong, or because you are a diehard Mets fan?
It's a good question. It's one of those things. It's about like current feelings versus the you know, my whole rest of my life. Thanks for the call, Skip. Like I have lived 37 years now, and for the first 35 of them, Frank Fleming had nothing to do with it. And so my love prior to Barstool, prior to me working in the field, prior to Dave, Frank, any of that was just like my pure love and obsession and addiction to the Mets. And so if and when the time comes that I get to win a title, it'll be about that. It'll be about like, me and my mom and my grandpa and like all the Mets fans who were behind enemy lines with me in the Bronx and all that shit. There's a surprisingly low number of people in my life who are Mets fans. So I can like count on probably two hands, the people who I'll be like celebrating with and enjoying with if this ever happens. But in the year of our Lord 2022, my day-to-day life is We Gotta Believe and Frank Fleming and dealing with Mets fans who are on his side, and I love getting the chance to rub it in their faces. I was calling Mets fans spoiled and stupid and rash and idiotic all season long, and they thought that they proved something when the Mets didn't make the playoffs. And then when Steve Cohen dropped his dick and his wallet on the table and bought everybody before the lockout started, and they all had to be like, oh, shit, yeah, I guess I was wrong. I was very, very satisfied. And the thought of getting to tell Frank, you dumb fucking jerk, you were wrong, is satisfying. But you know what's so annoying is that if and when, like I keep saying, we win the World Series, he'll just be cheering. He'll just be excited. And it's like he's just going to, forget about all the shit he was talking about and all the bad things he said. And, for the people like me and Clem and everyone who left the Wilpon life behind and now we support the team that we root for, it's bullshit that the same people who are trying to tear him down every 2 minutes are just going to be like, oh, well, no, we won, so now I'm happy. So it'll be more about my just obsession with the Mets. And to be honest, the way baseball is going, I kind of want to check it off, and then I can, put baseball behind me. I'll always be obsessed, and I'll never not watch. But the way the league is run and the way the sport is going, it just does not seem like it's going well for the future. I just want to make sure I can get my one in somehow, some way before the sport is completely fucking dead. Let's go to the mailwoman, Catherine, in Boston. What's up, Kat?
Hey, Bob. Pretty good. I just have a top 5. I've been thinking about this every day when I drive to work. What's your top 5 freak accidents you know for sure would happen to you on the way into work? When I go under an overpass, when I go under it, a car's coming off and smushing me to death.
You're crazy. You're a freak. We know that you're a freak, but you're a real freak too. You're a crazy person. Yeah. Are you?
I'm very excited.
Are you coming to the show on Friday?
Shows.
Yep. Are you going to both? Okay. I had a feeling Catherine would be coming to both. So this Friday we have KFC Radio Live at the Wilbur. First show sold out, so we added a second show, and that show is probably 3/4 full. And I would really love to get it sold out, or at least close to it. So if you are at the first show, stick around for both. Hang out for a few extra hours. We're going to do, it'll be a similar show, but every conversation's different, and every moment and every crowd's different. So you'll kind of get 2 shows in one night, and it's a great way to start Friday of St. Patrick's Day weekend. So go to the KFC Radio social media pages, and you can find the link to buy tickets there. But if you got nothing else on Friday night right now, I'm promising you, KFC Radio in Boston, your boy Feidelberg, the hometown kid, will be there. It's going to be, and we'll keep you updated on the games. If you're worried about missing March Madness, it's only an hour and 15. So I'll keep you updated on the games, and we'll talk about your bets, and don't worry about that. I'll make sure it's a good time. We're going to have bagpipers. We're going to put on a spectacle. So, definitely come through on Friday if you're in Boston and you don't have any other plans. Catherine, top 5 type. What? Well, I can't give you a top 5 because you're a freak and you're the only one who has multiple of these on your list, you nutbag. But
well, maybe not top 5, top.
Yeah,
3.
I'm trying to think of my irrational fears. Let's see. What do I think? Thank you, Catherine. An irrational thing that I get afraid of. Man.
I got mine, and it's ridiculous, but I've said it before on Twitter and whatnot. If you get killed by a squirrel, you're a squirrel boy. It doesn't matter. You could cure cancer. You're the guy that got killed by a squirrel. And anytime you see one just start fucking going, this is the one. I always hold back. Look, I'm like,
what do you think? You think a squirrel would climb up and eat your throat? Is that the way?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I just seen we have these hard plastic garbage cans that they just eat directly through, and I'm like, what? How are they?
They can do that.
Yeah.
What can they do to flesh?
Fuck you up.
Yeah.
And ever since, do you remember when we ran the ad on the Barstool website where it was some squirrel with these giant fucked up teeth? Ever since that, I'm like, that's fucking creepy. Chaps wrote a blog being I clicked on that fucked
about
up
our
squirrel
ad. Yeah.
It was so fucking weird and just sticks in my brain.
I definitely have moments when I'm driving through the Lincoln Tunnel where I start to think about Sylvester Stallone in that movie Daylight. The tunnel freaks me out, man, because it's eventually the tunnel breaks down, right? Are they just constantly doing maintenance on it? The tunnel, it blows my mind that we somehow have a tunnel underwater that we just drive through all the time. And
That's my brother is a civil engineer. So is my cousin, and they helped build. Like my brother was on a project where it was a bridge in Louisville, and then my cousin was doing the tunnel at the same time. And they were saying like they build bridges like they're 100 years bridge, or like 200 years bridge, and it's like so after 100 years, like it is not fucking safe.
But
and I forget what the tunnel is, but the tunnel I'm pretty sure is the same kind of thing. Like it's gonna erode and like eventually like they just build a new one.
Right, and I guess it goes under the river, but under the ground as well. Like they go so low, or it's not going through the water, right? It's like under, or it's actually in the water.
I'm not sure about the New York one. I've heard like I keep seeing things on Twitter every single year where it's like, wait, we're not actually going under, and I'm not sure.
So
it might go through.
Yeah, either way, I mean, I just I started the show talking about the snakes of the world, and 99% of like businesses and industries and jobs and careers are snakeable, and then you get to like the architects and the engineers and shit, and that stuff is not snake until you make it. But what is scary is they do hand it off to, the Joe Schmo on the construction team, who's like, ultimately the one who's got to carry out the work. And I know that's more just, hammer and nails.
I feel like I trust those guys more than some of the engineers because they're like,
they're the money grubbers.
Some of the engineers I know who I'm like, we got blackout drunk 3 weeks ago, and you just got this job.
So that's the one thing I don't
crazy.
have. I know I have doctors.
And also, you, like, a lot of engineers I know just cheated their way through school.
Yeah. So that's,
where I'm like, I know that, like, once you get there, the computer does 90% of the work.
I know. That's the thing.
But it's like, I know you guys were all fucking cheating off each other.
Yeah, you're all cheating. You're all drunks. You weren't paying attention. But you know what it is? It's like within the realm of once you're in that ballpark, like everybody's cheating and mailing it in. And so if you're at the top of your class, you're still the best architect, whatever, when it comes to all that. You know what I mean? It's like it's still all relative because you got to factor in that everybody is cheating and everybody is mailing it in and everybody's not paying attention in every school and every business. And so if you are still the top of that class, you're still the best. But you got to worry about the bottom of the class. It's like the old, what do you call, what do you call a doctor who finished last in his class? A doctor. It's like you still, as long as you got it's like me having an MBA. Me having an MBA is like the higher education, like board, if you will, should have prevented me from getting an MBA. Or they should know, because they didn't know at the time. Maybe I actually would have put it to use. They should have like retracted it. Once they found out how much I mailed it in and how little I used it, it's like a black mark for everyone who has an MBA out there. Because if someone, put it this way, next time you're at a fucking dinner party, you're at a cocktail party, at a happy hour, at a fundraiser, at a gala, you're somewhere where there's fancy people, and someone is, in a black tie, and they shake your hand and they say, I have my MBA. Just say to them, so does fucking KFC, and walk away. Actually, spit on them as you walk away. Say, so does KFC, spit on their face, and then walk away. Because having an MBA doesn't mean shit. So I would say I do have irrational fears, but I don't think they're irrational. I think they're kind of rational. There was a period of time where I just always kind of thought I was going to plug stuff in and get electrocuted when I was younger. I was just like, I'm just going to get zapped. You know what I don't do? I will never lick a battery. When people like lick it, it kind of zaps your tongue. I'm not doing that. I won't do it. I know it's not going to like hurt me, but I'm still just like, nope. I just recently, for the first time ever, ran my finger through the flame of a lighter. I don't like that, and I will not do Bloody Mary or Candyman or any of those. You lock me in the bathroom in the dark with the steam on, put ketchup on my finger, and tell me to say Hail Mary. What is it? Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary. Yeah.
I will not do it because to me it's like, just don't fuck with it. How do you know? How do you know?
They did that in one of my favorite things ever, Paranormal Activity. They did that in the preview for it, and
Uh-huh.
like she shows up and fucking like kills the kids.
Yeah.
And then in the movie, it's not there.
It was just a good.
It was a fake trailer that they were. So the entire time you're like,
Where's
what the
Bloody Mary?
fuck
Where's
is
Bloody
happening
Mary?
in this movie?
Dude, that is an all timer to me. It's just like I don't want to mess with the possibility. So I also, in my old age, am getting claustrophobic, and so I just sit around thinking about what if I ever get trapped in the air ducts in the ceiling, or what if I ever, what if I'm ever just like crawling through a tunnel and it starts to close in on me. I have no idea why I think of these things, and living the lifestyle I live, there is no chance I will ever crawl through the vents, but I'm like, what if? What fucking if? Let's go to who's been online the longest. Nolan from California. What do you got on daylight savings?
What's up, Kev? Happy to have you back on the airwaves here.
Thank you, bro.
Digital or whatever. Hey, so I'm a daylight savings loyalist myself, and
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I love it. All right, and here's why. My day starts with the sun. Job wise, like I can't run my equipment before sun comes up.
Why not?
So,
What does that mean?
What do you mean?
What?
Why can't I run it?
Yeah.
Because I'm working in orchards underneath power lines, so we are we have to have light.
Okay.
More light there.
All right. So I guess you of like all people I've ever talked to kind of have a valid reason because it actually affects your job. But okay, Mr. Apple Orchard fucking equipment man, that's like you're like one person out of a bajillion who needs the light.
I understand that, and I know that I am in the vast minority of it. But hey, I love it. Like winter comes around, sun's coming up later. Boom, we reset that clock a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, I'm still getting off at 2, 3 o'clock, whatever, and I'm able to go drink beer. Like
yeah, and that does sound like an enjoyable
I do appreciate
spot.
the daylight saving switch.
Yep. Now, but like, so the way they're proposing to leave it permanently, you'll still get that daylight in the morning, right? Or no? I don't know, and I don't fucking care. Yeah, you know what? Sorry, Nolan, but when I got to deal with the screaming kids, or when I'm like, I got to change. You know what? Just the mere fact that I got to change my fucking clock on my fridge and in my car is more important to me than your goddamn apple orchard business. I'm sorry, Nolan.
I understand.
Let's go to Kieran from Massachusetts. What's up, Kieran?
Hey, what's up, Kevin? I got a hypothetical for you, or hypothetical. Yeah. But before I get to that, just to let you, I call up all the time for all this boring ass shit. But here's something that's actually interesting. So you're talking about getting stuck in the Lincoln Tunnel.
Hmm.
Well, I can tell you this as someone that was in a house that was on fire on the 3rd floor. You don't fucking think when any of that shit happens. You just do whatever the hell you can to get the hell out. So preparation.
Wait, you were in a house, 3rd floor, and we're talking like engulfed in flames on fire?
The entire first floor was entirely in flames.
Whoa. How old were
I
you?
went in the house afterwards. I was 20. It was
Okay.
actually to be 20 years ago this year.
Wow.
I went in the house afterwards. My bedroom where my bedroom was, the floor didn't exist anymore.
So what'd you do? How'd you get out? Jump?
I ran out the fucking front door. I looked down. I came from the second.
You ran through the
floor and,
fire?
I ran through the fucking fire.
Through the fire.
It was either back up and go the other way.
Did you wait? Okay, sorry. Hang on. So you're on the 3rd floor. You're like, oh shit, the house is on fire. You start to run down. You are like on the stairs and you see like a wall of fire, or it was like on fire, but you still could like get through. You know, you still can see the ground and see the door and shit.
I remember standing at the top of the 2nd floor stairs. There was like a 1st floor apartment, and I'm looking down and there's flames just like the entire living room's on fire. And then at one point, flames just come shooting out, and I can remember them going up the wall alongside the wallpaper, and I'm just like, okay, do I turn around or do I just went? And I just hopped down the stairs, went through the front door, and I was just like, fuck, just get the fuck out of here as fast as I can.
Were you? Was it your family's house?
Yes.
What were you worried about? Like, I gotta go get other people or anything like that? You selfish motherfucker. You were just like, get me out of there.
Yeah, honestly, Kevin.
You were just like, get me out.
So there was a cop. There was a cop on the second floor who was just grabbing my dad, who had a fire extinguisher in his hand for like a stove fire.
Yeah.
It was like, sir, that's not going to work. And I just saw
Right.
them go the other way. And I'm like, I need to make sure this other way I can get out this way. And I'm like, okay, they went the right way. I went the wrong way.
Yeah.
I was just,
So
I'm like, fuck it. I'm either dead or I'm getting out. That was it. It was just, I'm either going to die or I'm going to get out.
Was your dad like, no, come this way, or like he didn't even see you? Because that's wild to me.
Well, he didn't even see me because this cop was like 6'5". He was the one that told us the house was on fire. He just came busting in the front door, and he just picked up my dad, threw him over his shoulder, and said, "Sir, we're going out the fire escape."
Yeah, and you were like, "Nah, I'm taking the front door, bitches. See you later." And you just run out. You get burned at all?
It's just yeah, my eyebrows were singed, and my hair was singed, and I wish I could. My dumb delusional ass talked to every news camera that was outside afterwards, and I wish I could find the footage. I don't know if it's digitized.
Right.
It's just hilarious. I'm like, blah, 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 blah.
Sure, yeah. Damn, man. That's one that I was a kid. Thanks for the call, man. I was a kid. I was probably like, this actually might be like my earliest memory. Probably like 5. And I remember my parents, like my dad holding me like, when you carry the bride across the thing, running down the steps out the door, and then it was my neighbor. Their apartment was on fire, but the wind was like blowing it towards ours. So our house wasn't on fire, but it was close. And I'm talking when the fire's coming out of the windows and shit, where it's like, you're done. Yeah. This building is done. And they lost everything. It was some dude fell asleep with a cigarette in his hand. That's how it happened.
I just had a neighbor of mine, so probably about two apartment blocks down from me. A house burnt down like not this past weekend, last weekend. So I'm just laying there in bed high as fuck, and all of a sudden I just hear a chopper just going above head, and it's going for a while, for like 15, 20 minutes, and there were sirens going on. I was like, yo, what the hell's going on?
Dude, that's what's scary if you're drunk or high, you're like, you're not expecting to have to go into fucking battle mode.
I get a citizen notification that said Jersey City, and it had my street address on it, and I just went into one of the biggest trips I've ever been. I started freaking out and shit.
Man.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, that ever since I saw that as like a little kid, I definitely think about if the house is burning down, what do you do? I remember I once had, I think I told this on KFC radio recently, but I sleep, talk, and walk a whole lot. And I had a nightmare. This is back when I was engaged, and I had a nightmare where the house was on fire, and I just got up and ran out the front door of the apartment, and I snapped out of it when I got to my front door of my apartment building. So not like the outside. I just got out into the hallway, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm in the hallway. Like, what am I doing? I woke up, came back, and we kind of were like, I was explaining the dream and why I ran and everything, and then she was like, so wait a minute, you didn't even think to help me at all? And I was like, sorry, fight or flight. That's like that poor bastard in the Aurora movie theater shooting. The Batman shooting, where he I think he Costanza it, and he shoved his fiance and ran out the front door, and they ended up being fine. But at that point, you could be head over heels in love if you in a life or death situation step on your significant other to get to the front door. And it's more if it's like the guy just blowing off the girl. I feel like if the girl tried to save herself, it's like, yeah, you're allowed to. As a guy, if you do that and everyone's safe and everything's fine, doesn't matter, break up on the spot. That's the preemptive breakup right there, because you'll hear about that jokingly or seriously for the rest of your life. I remember my mom said to me once, when my mom and dad were first dating, my dad was like a wild child. My dad, in his mind, you're either married or you're single. There's no in between. So you could be dating, you could be engaged, you're still single until you're done. So my mom was like, you were running around town with every other girl. And he was like, we weren't married. And she's like, there's a middle ground, dude. And so my mom will tell you, she'll be like, yeah, your father kind of hesitated on proposing and was still seeing other people, and I've been making him pay for it every day for the rest of his life since. And she was like, that's the trade-off. I hope you enjoyed having that, extra year of fun when you were like 25. Now you're 65, and I'm still ruining your life. And that's just from going on dates with chicks. That's not once didn't save you in a life or death situation. If that happens to you, just break up with a chick on the spot. Let's go to Garvey in Pennsylvania. What's up, Garvey?
What's going on, Kev?
How are you, bro?
Dude, I'm fucking awful. I'm awful, dude.
Why is that?
Senior year of college.
Stop right there. I don't care. You're not awful. It's senior year of college. Unless you're about to tell me I got, confirmed stage 4 cancer, then shut the fuck up. How bad could it be your senior year of college? What is it?
All right. Well, I'm 26. So, I mean, I've delayed this thing. I've basically taken the Feilberg route.
Wait.
And
26 and you've been going since you were 18?
On and off. I mean, but, I tried
about it like it's a girlfriend.
World.
Yeah, we broke up a couple times, me in college. Now we're back together. I'm 26.
I mean, Feilberg, honestly, as is the truth. It is a 4-year funeral for the rest of your life.
Yep.
And I have just been slowly delaying it. I've been getting treatment. I treat it like it's cancer. That's the way that I've treated it.
I like
that. Except I'm on and off again. Like chemo, I'll go.
No, it's like you go into remission for a little bit, It's like, I'm in remission on college. I'll get back there soon. That's why they call it oncology.
Dude, I'll tell you, I made a wrong decision. I went into sports management. I realized when you guys were talking about Mantis, when Mantis got hired, you guys were like, what the fuck can you do with a sports management degree?
Absolutely.
Fucking nothing.
Absolutely nothing. That is the most niche specific degree that gets you nowhere. Like if you have a degree to become a lawyer or a doctor or something important, it's very narrow, but it's very lucrative. What the fuck is a sports management degree going to get you?
Dude, I thought I was going to be scouting, working as a GM.
Of course.
I was like, this is sick. And then I get here and my professor's like, yeah, I can get you a ticket sales or I can get you in marketing. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
dude.
that was a bad decision. But at the same time, degrees really mean nothing. So, as long as and actually diplomas at this point mean nothing. It's like, you don't need that shit. So you probably should stop flushing money down the toilet all these, 6, 7, 8, 9 years.
Yeah, well, I realize that now. It's too late to get out of Shawshank. Might as well just do my bid. But
you're pop committed, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess my original question, I said fuck it, because as I was sitting here listening to you and thinking about what you and Feilberg have said about college and then working your first real job, I don't want to work any of these fucking jobs. So, what would you suggest to a kid like me, or I guess a man-child like me, to just swallow pride or wait until something happens? I'm just curious what you guys say.
Well, waiting until something happens is not really a plan of attack. You can't just, wait until something falls into your lap. I am a big fan, and I know this is easy for me to say in this position, but I've been preaching this for a while. I got lucky, so it sounds obnoxious coming from me. But I was prepared to work a shitty job that made me money and gave me benefits and paid the bills and afforded me enough money to do fun shit. I was fully prepared to be like, your life's happiness does not come from employment. It comes from everything outside of work. So I was like, I'm going to work as this accountant and be bored, but I'm going to have enough money to go to happy hour every night and have the apartment I want and travel and buy nice shit and all that stuff. And so when I was, still young, I was partying every night and going out, and I had a great group of friends, and we rented houses in the summer and in the winter, and I was like, this is where I find my happiness, and I fund it all by going to work. I also then was like, but this job sucks and it's killing me creatively, so I started a hobby, basically, which was blogging, and that's where I got lucky enough to, turn a hobby into my career. Now, while I'm extremely lucky that happened, the thing was that I started doing something else.
So, like, I would say whatever you kind of have lined up now, I would take that. But with the way it is now, all you need is this, dude. All you need is a cell phone. And you need this, you need a cell phone, you need YouTube, and maybe eventually like one other person to help you to start out. But really, you can do it all on your own with your phone, and YouTube tutorials can teach you absolutely anything you need to know. It's, it's a little bit of work, and you got to, watch them and do it yourself. But if you need to learn how to edit or produce, I'm talking about internet content, but you can probably fucking, I follow that guy on TikTok, Dave, who, he teaches you everything you need to know about plumbing, if that's what you're into. If you want to make movies, if you want to do this, that, or the other thing, you can find a way, and you can do it on your phone within reason. And, you don't know where that goes from. What starts out as a hobby or just something to kill time or make it so that you don't, jump off a fucking bridge. If the right opportunity arises or you meet the right person or something materializes and you're kind of ready to go because you've been doing it on the side for a while. So I think unless you have a talent, which you have to be honest with yourself, comedians look in the mirror and they're like, am I going to dedicate the next 20 years of my life to trying to grind this out? Do I have enough talent for that or not? Because if you do have talent, then go for it. If you don't, be honest with yourself. If you don't have anything extraordinary, I say it's smarter to take a job, an opportunity that you have, and do that while on your off hours, having the fun and doing whatever else you can to find be satisfied in life. But I say do all of that kind of at like Garvey's age, like later 20s. I think in the very beginning is the time to experiment and risk and go all out. When you're 22 and you've just graduated, do the gig that you want to, chase the dream, whatever corny thing you want to call it. I just say do that when you have no bills, no expenses. Your parents are still probably more of a safety net for you, because every single year is just another year of responsibility or whatever reason you can't risk it. It just keeps getting worse in that department. So I would say, give it a shot in the beginning, but afterwards, be honest with yourself, make that money and do some shit on the side, because side gigs become real gigs much faster and much more realistically this day and age.
Yeah, just to add to that, I was 24 when I first ever edited a video.
Right.
And it's those YouTube tutorials are insanely good. You just got to find something. I used Barstool Radio to rip audio because I didn't have my own equipment, but I had the free software that's out there to teach myself. And it was just every single day I was all right, make one thing that you learn something new every day. And it just added up. And that's now we're doing all this crazy shit.
There's
and
very few excuses left.
Together. Yeah.
Very few. Back in the day, it really would be I don't have a camera. I'm not a movie studio. I can't do this. I can't do that. Bullshit. Now, if you can afford a phone, you can do all of this stuff. And, the information and the knowledge and all that shit is really out there. I also would say, and I don't know if this falls into the same question here, but I would say, you got to think outside the box in terms of there's just no rules anymore. So I think about when we started a podcast, I was you do 1 hour per show, 1 per week, because that's just what you do. And then all of a sudden we were well, why don't we just do 2? Because we did a 3-hour episode. That's too long. So why don't we break it up into 2? And nowadays we do 3-hour episodes, and we just, you don't need to be 1 hour. You can be 3 hours, and we do it multiple times a week. And I just, it's you don't have to comply to the way that people do things. Even something as simple. This week on KFC Radio, I went on a rant about Tom Brady, and Jackie put music in the background of it while I was ranting. And I got so many tweets from listeners being the music was a perfect touch. And we didn't talk about that. I didn't tell her to do it. We didn't say, I'm going to do this rant with music. It was just something that she did in post that made it so much better because she just went with like her own gut and her own whatever she thought was good. It just, you can separate yourself by doing things your way, however you want to do it, whenever you want to do it. It used to be you got to do like a 1-hour show. Now it can be a 1-minute video, and you can do a 10-second TikTok. And, it just is, you kind of wait for things to become the new industry norm when you don't have to do that. It's like you can just do whatever length you want, whatever style you want, whatever, because it's constantly changing and constantly evolving. We got 4 more calls here, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's go to who's been on the line the longest. Jason from Seattle. What's up?
What up, my man?
How you doing, bro?
Quick question for you. I'm all right. Quick question for you. I'm on the West Coast, and we ain't got a whole bunch of, even though we got the Nike store downtown in Oregon, I'm tired of getting my shit packed in from all these unauthentic Jordans. I'm trying to figure out where my boy KFC is picking up his Jordans that makes it so easy that he can be like, oh, yeah, I just picked up another pair because, damn it, he ain't got nothing.
Well, all right. I will say if you're a sneakerhead and you're looking to get your latest pairs, I have given up entirely on trying to win the raffles, logging into the sneakers app. I never win. I've never won one, and I don't plan on getting my hopes up for one ever again. Between the bots and the resellers and all that kind of shit, it's nearly impossible to get things on retail. So I used to, when I first started like collecting my sneakers, was when I first finally had enough money to do it and buy all the shoes I wanted when I was a younger kid and all that shit. And I was just using eBay, because eBay you have sellers that, as long as in the description or in the information on the page, if it says like 100% certified, real, authentic, any of that shit, if they turn out to be fake, you can like send it back and challenge it, and eBay will be like on your side. If it doesn't ever say anything like these are real, you can rest assured that they are probably fake. There's also, I always say, like, it's too good to be true. If you found a pair of, authentic Jordan 1s from 1987 and it's they are, $65, it's not fucking real. But if at the end of the day, Jason, what you're worried about is getting the real shoes, if you go to StockX or GOAT are 2 apps that the prices are probably going to be pretty high. You're going to have to pay whatever the markup is based on the popularity, but those are always guaranteed to be real. I will say I have fallen off on the sneaker game pretty hard. I think it was the pandemic that really did it. Once I was living that slippers life for a while. But, I mean, I've got a literal wall of sneakers at home now. And I've bought 1 pair of sneakers in, like, the past, year.
You did that sneaker off with, what's his name?
Ross, yeah.
And after that, I don't think I've seen you, post a new pair.
I know, and it's a shame because it is an opportunity. Kicks in the Office has, I think 35,000 followers on Instagram. And you know what really pisses me off?
What?
So I made Kicks in the Office, and I had about 100 pair of sneakers, right? And I went through and I did a countdown of my top 100 sneakers. Not in order, but just whatever I was wearing that day. I wore a different pair of shoes pretty much every day for 100 days straight. I posted pictures of them. I wrote a description about what the sneaker meant to me and why I bought it and all this shit. And then I was like, cool, whatever, I'm done. I want to make Kicks in the Office into something bigger and more profitable and the way that Complex does it or Nice Kicks does it. And I turned it over to an intern, to a new kid. And
I actually have a story that will follow yours.
Okay. And he said, I'm going to come up with a template that Kicks in the Office always posts so that the Instagram page always looks the same. And when there's new drops and when we post new sneakers, it'll all look nice. And I'm going to have a theme and whatever. And it all sounded good. And he did do some of that, but he deleted all of the original posts, which at the time I was kind of whatever, no big deal.
Fast forward, and we come to find out that intern was the scumbag of all scumbags, the biggest rat fuck in the world. When I talk about snakes in an endearing way, this guy was a snake in the scumbag way. He's a thief. He's a fucking con artist. He's a bad friend. He welches on his bets. He doesn't pay back his bills. He is a fucking like deadbeat loser who we now got rid of. And still owes so much money to so many people here. And it's like, I'm just mad that I gave the keys to this account to him. Because at the time, I had no idea. And he was the only kid in the office who also knew about sneakers and shit. He even tried a couple episodes of sneaker content that I thought was actually halfway decent. But then when it turned out to be a fucking asshole, I was like, oh, I'm so mad that I'm so protective of all my content. Even something as simple as posting sneakers, I let this fucking kid, do something to my account. What an idiot. What did that asshole do to you?
So, because of my shoe size, I can't really get shoes.
Right.
So I'm a size 5.5, and stores usually don't carry that. So
Okay.
I have to go online and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I mean, brands barely do it.
Right.
So I went through. All I wear is New Balance, and I was trying to branch out and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Went through him a week before he left. He sold me these. I think they were like $300. These Yeezys, these Yeezy basketball shoes that are the worst shoes that I've ever owned. It's like a piece of hard plastic. It was.
Worst.
I don't even know if it's real.
It's
but
if it's from him, I guarantee it's probably not.
after I heard of that story, I didn't even want to. After I heard of what his antics with the sneaker stuff,
Mhm.
I didn't even want to check on the authenticity. I just
Bro,
chalked it up as a no.
I hate to even, it's almost guaranteed to be fake. That dude left so many guys here with like hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of money that he owes them. And he just moves on. And I'm sure he's somewhere else because he's relatively, personable otherwise. He probably can interview well and charm people and get a new job, whatever. And then he finds people, yo, man, let me get $500. I'll pay you back. Hey, can you pay rent for me this month? I'll hit you back next month. Hey, can you co-sign the lease so that I can get this? Can you put up money so I can get this car? This, that, and the other thing. The ultimate fucking rat. And you know what the worst part about that guy is? And it's really more about just like the way the world works. More often than not, you can get away with shit like that. And it's why the fun side of snaking it can happen because people don't really want confrontation and they don't want like a problem. So they just let shit slide. And so that guy will always find somebody who's like nice enough to help out, but not like tough enough to be like, yo, if you don't give me my money, I'm going to break your fucking ankles. I'll break your kneecaps right now. And he'll just do it to people. And when they catch on and fire him or cut him out of their life, just move on to the next crowd of people to hustle. And it's just like, it's hustling in the least honorable of way. You're just a fucking criminal and a thief, you rat. Let's go to a couple more here. Rob from Canada. What's up, Rob? Oh, we got to wrap it up?
Hey, what's up, Kevin? How are you, brother?
I'm good, Rob. What's going on?
Hey, man, I just called. I want to apologize first. I was like starstruck when I was talking to Za. He is the fucking king of Barstool.
Yo, I'm starstruck when I talk to him every day. He's the fucking A-lister of all A-listers here at this joint.
When are we going to get a behind the blog of Za? Like, I already know I've watched all the content.
We talked about it.
Fucking
Listen, Rob, we talked about it.
That's what he said.
Yeah, we are gonna do behind the blog with Za. I'm happy you brought it up because now this reminds me, and we'll put it up. I'm just waiting. I want it to be sponsored. I want there to be some dollars behind this one because I know when we do behind the blog with Za, we're gonna do numbies, big numbies, because the people want more Za.
Bro, we should shoot it. We should shoot it in Zimbabwe if it's sponsored.
Yo,
you down to come?
Yo,
on a little safari
Listen,
thing.
There is only one person in this world that could get me to go to Zimbabwe. My own children could be like, I'm stranded in Zimbabwe. You got to come save me, Dad. I'd be like, nah, I'm sending Za. But if we can do it right, I will interview you in Zimbabwe. If that's not in the cards, we will sit down somewhere here at Barstool or somewhere in New York, and we're gonna hear it all from Za's alien encounter through his improbable hiring at Barstool when he marched in here. And, he called me at Barstool Radio as a caller just to say shout out to you guys. You have listeners and fans in Africa. And next thing you know, he's producing like every fucking show that we do here. So Behind the Blog with Za coming up soon enough. Whenever it happens, it will be the next one. And another episode of the Kevin Clancy Show live coming at you next Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you get alerts and messages whenever we are going live. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
You know how ugly John's going to be underneath that beard? We don't even know what's under there. Like, I've got some scruff, and if I have to shave, you're going to see that I have a double chin. We don't even know what's going on underneath that fucking fiasco on his face. So do the right thing. Subscribe now. Ignore his calls for help next week. And make sure that I win this bet so we can see his ugly mug at the end of March.